I think it's important that people understand what's really going on here. The school districts are not there for your children. Let's get this clear. They are there for the creation of the bonds to support the jobs that they have, which in reality is stealing money from mom and pop. And the writings from Thomas Paine, if you don't mind, I'll give you a couple of them just to give people something to chew on. It is the duty of every man, as far as his ability extends, to detect and expose delusion and error. The greatest tyrannies are always perpetrated in the name of the noblest causes. Well, the noble cause is we want to educate children. How do you square the statement, we want to educate children, with the simple fact that when children are graduating from high school, they literally can't read their own diploma? How do you square these two issues? Well, the answer is you don't. The school districts are failing. The school districts have failed. And even in places like Ohio, the only solution to what Ohio has created is, in fact, the involuntary bankruptcy of the entire school system. Do you know that in Ohio, they don't even have a governor on the fact that, like we do here in Texas, even though they violated the governor, but at least in Texas, we've got a law that says you can't have more than 25% of the preceding year's bonds outstanding on the next raise. Well, in Ohio, they don't even have that. So the Ohio law is you, the school districts, do as you wish. Do what you think you can get away with. Their schools are completely failed. So the point of the matter is this is all about bonds. This is all about theft. And in order to support the bonds and the interest on the outstanding bonds, they must raise more bonds because they've jumped the shark. The interests have gotten so large, the only way to offset the interest, based on the rule of 72, is simply to raise more bonds. And that is the abject definition of a Ponzi scheme. We're going to keep going until it blows up. That's why we're pounding the table on this and exposing it and showing everybody this is what it is. This is why we need help. And then in that spreadsheet that you've got, that literally proves the point at the mom and pop level. This is your life. This is your money that's being stolen. This is your future that's being stolen.
And to that point, Mitch, this is important, okay? Because this is fantastic that you've created this Excel sheet. Now, besides raising people's blood pressure and getting people even angrier and stressed, and I know that information is power, but once you realize how much has been stolen and will be stolen, what can we do with that number? What can we do to empower us, to take our power back, knowing that amount?
Internally, we're doing everything that we can do with regard to marching this through the courts. However, in the spreadsheet, in the bottom left-hand corner, are a series of steps to give people something to think about, which would be take action to the point where you reach out to your politicians locally, you hit them with email, you bombard them with phone calls, and that includes your school district superintendents, your chief appraisers, and the boards of each of those entities. So it becomes a campaign of bombardment. And that is what needs to be done, but it's got to have a little bit more teeth to it. It's basically, you're going to send us back an email that says you are going to repeal these real estate taxes in favor of the uniform state sales tax, or we, the citizens, are going to show you the door. But this has got to stop, because if it doesn't, what happened in the Great Depression is going to seem like nothing. What happened in 2007 will seem like nothing. I would fully expect, because this is the math that we've run, it shows a 35% unemployment if you let this thing get out of hand. Because the bonds panic. When the bondholders panic, there's no floor under this. I believe it's best to quantify this and simply say, okay, we can put a bracket. We, the state of Texas, and all the states, along with the federal government, which will eventually include the FDIC and the Federal Reserve, to state, let's bracket this. We're going to have to take a hit, and the bondholders are going to have to take a hit, but taking a hit is better than zero. You let this get out of control, it goes to zero real fast.
We don't have much time to deal with this, Mitch. That's what concerns me the most.